My name is Mathieu Bauchy. I'm a co-founder and CTO of Concrete.AI. I've been doing more than 10 years of research on concrete at the University of California, Los Angeles. We produce more concrete than all the other materials combined. Modern society is built around concrete. Concrete is used for the homes we live in, roads we drive on, the bridges we cross. It's literally everywhere. But the concrete industry is really facing immense pressure now. The first aspect is that due to rising material costs, the profitability of concrete producers is decreasing. Margins are already in single digits, and so that puts concrete producers under immense pressure to remain profitable. But the second aspect is that concrete is a significant contribution to global warming. It contributes to about 8 to 10% of global CO2 emissions. And that's about 3 times the amount of emission from the aviation industry. And this is really what motivated us to create Concrete.AI, to solve those problems and to really achieve more profitability for producers, more urbanization, more infrastructures, improving our quality of life, and also more sustainability to make sure that we don't further contribute to climate change. The challenge that are facing concrete, that's something that we must be able to solve with physics and chemistry, which are the traditional approach. But we have really done that for many years and without being successful. And this is really because concrete is such a complex material. We take it for granted, but it's the most used material on the planet, and yet it might be the one that we understand the least. And that's really because concrete is a living material. It's not something that is static, it's continuously evolving over time, and that makes it extremely difficult to model this material, understand how it behaves, and predict what its properties are going to be in the years to come. This is when we realized that AI was really a powerful, pragmatic solution to solve the challenge facing concrete. And that's really because AI is so good at analyzing the millions of data points that we have, finding some patterns that as humans we would not be able to see. And so this is really where we saw AI as an opportunity to solve those challenges right now, because we cannot afford to wait for another 20 years before we make some new scientific discovery, before we finally understand the physics behind concrete. We are at the right time for really having those powerful tools like AI to really find inefficiencies, being able to do more with less. So what we do is that we develop some generative AI model that we make available to concrete producers. And the goal of this is to help them generate new concrete formulation with a lower cost than the existing one, a lower carbon footprint, but while still maintaining the same performance, so the same strength, the same workability, by combining this physical and chemical knowledge of concrete with the power of data that we were able to build those models that can not only predict what we already know, the concrete that is already made, but really discover new types of concrete formulations that just don't exist today. If every producer on the planet were to adopt Concrete.AI, we would prevent 500 million tons of CO2 from entering the atmosphere annually. This would be equivalent to removing all the emission from France and Argentina combined every year. So this is really a big opportunity to reduce CO2 emissions, and this is where we want to be in about 5 years from now. When it comes to construction, being extremely conservative in the way we build and making sure the infrastructure that we build is going to perform as expected is extremely important. But one thing that we realized when we were starting to play with those AI models is that AI can sometimes be extremely wrong and be extremely confident about it. And so maybe this is fine when you are just chatting with a chatbot like ChatGPT. But when it comes to constructions, we can't tolerate wrong information. If something goes wrong in a given infrastructure, lives can be at stake. So when it comes to security, there is really two levels for us that are extremely important. The first one is security of data, and we take that extremely seriously. The data of the concrete producer we work with is extremely sensitive, so we use state-of-the-art approach to protect it, make sure it's fully siloed, fully protected, and fully isolated from each other so that there is no risk of data breach. But really for us, the second thing in terms of security is really making sure that the concrete that we prescribe is going to perform. This is why we developed some models that are always aware of their own confidence, of their own uncertainty, which traditional AI models don't have. And so we take into account this uncertainty and add it as an additional margin of safety so that we can always account for a worst case scenario and always make sure that the concrete that we prescribe is always going to have the strength and the performance that is needed for the targeted application. AI is extremely powerful. It can really change society. It can really change humans' life, but it can be used for good or bad things. We need AI to make people smarter and really assist them and focus on more creative aspects of their work. We don't need to use AI to replace human intelligence. And we need to make sure AI is used to solve the climate change, not to further contribute to it. So this is really what I would like to emphasize, that we have this collective responsibility to use AI for good, and we should always keep that in mind.